this week's mentor sentence 5, we're going to be doing, in today's video, we're just going to be looking at Monday musings, teacher Tuesday, and work on it Wednesday. You guys still need to do think on it Thursday, and then, of course, do the typing on slide 2. Cannot emphasize that enough. You have to do the typing on slide 2, or you get a 50, because that is half of the battle. It's typing. I've told you guys over and over, it's muscle memory, it's necessary, you got to do it. I'm not just assigning it because I like to see myself, I like to give you guys work. That's not what that is. You have to do it. Alright, so Monday musings. I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I notice about this sentence is the reference to Shakespeare. We have not talked about Shakespeare at all. In 9th grade, you guys are going to do a whole unit on Shakespeare, but he is the father of drama, and we can credit him with, you know, basically any genre. He came up with it first. So he's one of my favorite authors, and the quote that they use here is actually from his play Julius Caesar. So that's one of the things I know. We have yet to see a sentence where they incorporate a quote from another work of art. Also, the little backslash, this backslash where it says, but in ourselves, I noticed that's different. And then I'm noticing that this looks to be a compound complex sentence. And so we can look at what that means in Teacher Tuesday. So for you guys, really just whatever you noticed about the sentence, I just want to know. So just, you don't have the Monday musing chart paper to help you, but just basically just tell me what you saw that stood out to you as far as the sentence goes. Now for Teacher Tuesday, remember you've got to label each word with a part of speech. And I'm not going to do that for you because we've done that in weeks 1, 2, and 3 together in class. So you can go back and look. I'm going to venture to say that we've used every single one of these words except for the names Cassius and Brutus. But those are names, so they pretty much speak for themselves for their part of speech. You should be able to decide what that is and determine that. Yeah, just looking over the words, I'm not seeing anything that stands out as something we haven't talked about. Okay, so for Teacher Tuesday, for Teaching Tuesday, what I want to focus on, we have talked a lot about quotations in text and in writing in particular. We've spent 3 weeks just, hitting on that. You should know by now that you need a comma to separate a quotation from the rest of the text. That was in, I believe, week 3. We did that. And if I'm not mistaken, you might have even done that in week 4. No, we didn't do it in week 4. But you have done that. It was definitely in week 3, and we've seen this a bunch of times. So that is it's an important comma rule to understand. You have to use a comma to separate the quotation from the rest of the sentence. The figurative language in this sentence. It says, the fault, dear Brutus, the nature of the star, it is the nature of the stars to cross. Stars are stationary objects in the sky unless they're falling, and then that's not really a star. So if we are treating something giving something human qualities and it's not necessarily a human, that's figurative language. It's called personification. We have talked about that since week 2 of school, I think. So you guys should be pretty set on figurative language as far as personification goes. And then the next thing is that backslash. In the quote, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves." That slash, Shakespeare is writing plays and poetry and things like that. Backslashes in the middle of a quote indicate that the thing that comes after the backslash is on a new line. Shakespeare was writing in a time where things were acted out and speakers needed to know how to speak, and pauses were used for effect. And so to start a new line means that you have to pause completely, given a longer pause than a comma. So, you know, that's basically what you should learn from this sentence. Figurative language, talking about personification. You guys are good on personification. I don't think there's a single person in my class that does not know what personification is. I'd be very disappointed if you haven't been learning that. Using the quotes directly, again, guys, it's just to separate a quote from the rest of the sentence. So if the quote comes at the end, like it does in this sentence, the comma is going to come before that quote. If it came at the beginning of the sentence, the comma would go at the end of the quote, inside the quotation. So just keep that in mind. You guys are familiar with this. We shouldn't be stressing it. Work on it Wednesday. It says to make the mentor sentence better. Improve any parts of the speech, punctuation, figurative language, etc. to make an improved mentor sentence. So this is just where you're trying to make it better. Use that function I taught you guys to figure out synonyms. Change up some of the words in the sentence. Yeah, that's the only way I could think to make it better. Just change some of the words around. You can maybe give the personification of the stars a new personification. So instead of stars cross, mix it up. Stars overlap. Again, just use that function that I taught you where you highlight the word you want to change, right click on it and find a synonym. If you can't, you can open the thesaurus function up, and that will help you out a lot. So again, your job from here is to make sure you have detailed every part of speech for every word in the sentence, which go back and look at those sentences that we've done in the past. You guys have this already. If but is a coordinating conjunction in another sentence, chances are it's probably a coordinating conjunction here. If the is a noun modifier in another sentence, it's probably a noun modifier here. Just kind of think about it. And if all else fails, guys, Google the word. Google will tell you what the part of speech is. I am not trying to play a getcha game, but I do want you to know the part of speech because it is important. If you don't know parts of speech, then your grammar and sentence structure is going to lack, and you're going to have run-on sentences, sentence fragments. Your writing is not going to be complete, and part of our job is to learn how to write better as students. And everybody can improve in that area. Again, as always, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. But other than that, I don't have much for you in the way of mentor sentence or however that goes. So just, do your best and get this submitted as soon as possible. Thanks.